Good evening, one and all. In today's session, we will study arrays and strings. And in arrays, we'll first go through some theory part and then we'll start off with the implementation. So arrays is actually coming under the part of data structures and algorithms. So we have seen primitive data types like int, float, and in general, I'm saying logical. Okay, logical is not a part of Java data type, but you can have some logical data type. Char we have seen. Okay, so in general, these are some of the data types. Then in non-primitive data types, they are the derived ones from the primitive data types, and they can hold homogeneous or heterogeneous data. Homogeneous data means data of the same data type, for example, all integers or all floats, but not a combination of data types. That is called as homogeneous data. Heterogeneous means, you might have guessed it, is combination of different data types stored together. So under non-primitive, we have linear data type as well as non-linear data type. In linear means one after the other, the data is stored, means after the first element, you'll have second element, before the second element, you'll have first element, means one after the other. Example is array, linked list, stack, queue. Non-linear means not necessary they are one after the other. There may be number of elements before you or number of elements after you. That means there may be many to one relation, many to many relation, one to many relation, not necessary one after the other. That is the meaning of uh, non-linear. So example are tree, graph, table. Those who are in computer science IT department, they'll be studying about these data structures in their second year, both the semesters. So array is actually a linear data structure and it is a collection of similar data types. Now, what is the need to study arrays? So we have studied integers, floats, characters, strings, and all. But those are the variables that we create which can store a single value. For example, int a equal to 5. We cannot store 5, 6, 7, 8 inside the same a variable, right? So suppose consider a case where you have to add 5 numbers. Okay, you will use 5 variables, suppose like a, b, c, d, e. In each variable, you store some numbers and then you will do a plus b plus c plus d plus e. But what if you have to add 100 numbers? It is not a good idea to take 100 variables, right? Maybe you'll take A to Z, 26 variables over. For next 26, maybe you'll take A1, B1, C1, D1, something like that. But that is not efficient, right? That is because why to name so many variables when there is some common characteristic between them? I'm audible, right?
Yes,
Hello?
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I was saying that suppose we want to add all integers. Suppose we want to add 100 integers. Then instead of taking 100 variables, what we'll do is we'll take a common name. That is, we'll take an array actually. The name of the array is suppose A. Okay, so in the array A, we will store all the 100 integers together. That means under the same name, we can store multiple values. But the condition for arrays in Java, C, C++ is all the numbers or all the data that you store under that single name should be of the same data type. For example, you can store 10 integers, 100 integers, 50 integers. Maybe you can store 20 floats, 30 floats, 50 floats, but everything should be of the same data type. That is the condition. How it will help us, I just now said, it will help us to reduce the effort in declaring so many variables, initializing so many variables and all that. And we have different types of array as well. So this is an example of array. You can see the numbers like 40, 50, 40, 55, 63, 17, 22, 68. So all these are integers. So instead of writing a equal to 40, b equal to 55 and so on, so many variables, instead of doing that, we will take a as the array name, and within a we will store all the integers. Now since we have the same name for all the integers, how to access a particular integer from this group? The solution is you must write a of whichever number you want. It is stored at a particular index. For example, the numbering starts from 0. So if I write a of 0, it means that first element which I'm storing inside A. Okay, A of 0 means first element. Similarly, second element in A I want to access. So it depends on the order in which you're storing the elements inside the array. If you're storing the element at the first position, you can access it using A of 0. Means if you print out A square bracket 0 square bracket, the first element which you have stored in that array will get displayed. Similarly, if you write A of 1, the second element in the array will get displayed. Similarly, A of 3, then third element in the array will get displayed. So as you can see, here there is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, these numbers you can see, right? So these numbers are nothing but called as indices or subscripts. How they are useful? They are useful to access the particular element which you have stored in the group of elements, that is which you have stored in the array. So if I say A of 0, 0 means what? This 0. So A of this 0 means the element 40. So when I print out A of 0, the output will be 40. Similarly, if I print A of 8, the output will be 8 is this one. At 8, I'm storing 89. So A of 8 means 89 number will get displayed. Have you understood this much?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And remember that if there are 10, here in this case, I have 9 elements in my array. Okay. Total number of elements are 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Total 9 elements. So the index, the range goes from 0 to 8. That means if I have 9 elements in my array, the range of index always starts from 0 and it will end at 9 minus 1 in this case. Okay, suppose you have 10 elements in your array, then the index, as I said, always starts from 0 up to 10 minus 1, that is 9. So in general, if you have n elements in your array, the index will always go from 0 up to n minus 1. If we have 10 elements, 10 minus 1, so n elements, n minus 1. Okay. So as I said, A of 0 means first element, then second, third, and so on. Okay. Now, in Java, how do we do this? Okay, that was the general concept of arrays. In Java, there is a special way of doing it, which is not common to C, C++, means there is a different way to do it also compared to C, C++. So suppose the name of my array is data type. Okay, the name of my, the data type of the array is, suppose data type in this case. In general, I'm writing it as data type. So if I want to say data type, it can be either int, means an array of integers, or if I write float, means it can be a array of all floating point numbers or all double numbers and so on. So data type means either int, float, char, uh, int, float, char, double, byte, short, whatever. So that is the meaning of data type. And these data types are the primitive ones, means all the data types that we have seen till now, like int, float, char, those ones, that data type. Then the name of the array here is ARR. So the name of the array is ARR. And usually, how do we write it as? We write as int a square bracket. But in Java, it is also allowed to put the square bracket in front. For example, you can write int square bracket ARR. You can also write int ARR. You can also write int ARR and then square bracket. Okay, so both these are allowed. Either front you can put it, or after the array name you can put it. Okay. Now, see here, there are certain ways of doing this. If you want to store the marks of 5 students, Then instead of creating 5 variables for 5 students' marks, you will create an array of size 5. Now, one way of doing it is int a square bracket equal to, and then this is the declaration part. Okay, as we declare integers, int a semicolon, that int a with the square bracket semicolon. So that is one way. Okay, this is that one way, int square bracket marks or int marks square bracket. And then you can create the array, means you can allocate memory to the array using this new keyword. So this new keyword we have also seen in case of the input functionality, like scanner scan equal to new scanner system.in. So that is the same new that we had used here. So new is nothing but used for dynamic memory allocation. So the first way is int a square bracket, and then you write a equal to new int. And then how many elements you want to store in your array, that you must specify here. So see the syntax carefully. What you have to do, first you have to declare, and then you have to allocate memory. Okay, this is one way, declaring first and then allocating memory. And how much memory you'll allocate depends on the number that you specify here. Here, if I'm writing 5, means 5 memory locations. And since the data type of this array is int, means this array will store all integers only. And how many integers? 5. Size of integer is 4. So 4 into 5, 20 bytes will be allocated for this array. Okay. So the size depends on how many elements you want to store. And the data type is the data type of the array. So only integers will be allowed in this array. Otherwise, you'll get error if you try to store any other value except an integer. So if you want to do this declaration and this initialization in the same line, that is declaration as well as memory allocation, there's one sort of shortcut. What you have to do, this semicolon, you remove it, and this a equal to, you remove it. Okay, and you can write int a square bracket equal to new int. So you have combined it into a single line. Okay, so keep these syntaxes in mind, they'll help you. So this is one way of first declaring and then assigning memory, that is allocating memory. Now you have declared it, means you have announced it that you're going to use a array in your program. You have also told how much size should be given to that. But what are the values that you're going to store in that? For that, the syntax is either you use a loop to enter all the values. Why I'm saying loop is because in the array you're going to store suppose 10 values. Then each time you'll not keep on storing that, store the first value, store the second value, store the third value. Instead of doing that, in a for loop, you can do the same thing of storing the value again and again. So either you use the for loop, or maybe you have less elements. Then what you can do, here you can write your curly brackets, then give a semicolon. And inside your curly brackets, you can specify whichever element you want to store. Okay, so what I've done here, this much part is declaring, this much part is assigning memory or allocating memory, and this much part is storing the values in that memory. And remember, whatever memory of that has to be given to this array will be continuous in the memory block. Continuous means, I want to say it like this. If this is your block of memory, then to store the 5 values, you will have these divisions here. So you can store the first value here, second value here, third value, fourth value, and fifth value, one after the other. That is why I said array is a linear data structure. Linear means one after the other. Okay, it is not that you will store one value here, then you leave some gap, next value. No, there should be no gap between the consecutive elements. That is the meaning of continuous memory location, or you can say contiguous memory location. So in the array, the characteristics are same data type, and the memory allocated will be one after the other, means continuous. Okay, and we have seen different ways of doing this, on different lines or on a single line. So let us get back to handwritten notes. Yeah. So if you do not want to use this new keyword is generally used when you are not sure of your array size. Okay, but suppose you are sure and suppose a few elements you want to store, then you can cancel out all this new and all that, and directly you can do declaration part and initialization part. You will not have to do the memory allocation part. That means new keyword, if it is absent, it is okay. It is up to you whether you want to use new keyword or you don't want to use. So if you don't want to use, you have to directly write int a equal to, remove this part and your curly brackets, right? So if you want to use new keyword, just you have to add it in between. If you don't want to use, no need to use it. Is it clear till now?
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't use this new keyword, the memory that will be allocated will be done at the declaration part only. Okay. Is it clear for others also?
Yes.
Okay. And as I said, starting from 0 up to n minus 1, where n is the size. So if I say 10 is the size of my array, means there are 10 elements in my array. So index will go from 0 to 10 minus 1, that is 0 to 9. So for this marks array, in which I've stored the elements 100, 70, 80, 71, 98, if I say a of 3, then what will be the value that will get printed? Can you tell me?
71.
71.
71.
Yes,
71.
very good. Actually, it is 71. Okay, it is 7. Yeah, a of 3 is 71. If I say a of 1, which value will get displayed?
70.
70.
70.
Yeah, it is 70. Okay, if I say a of 12, which value will get displayed?
No.
Error.
Garbage.
Nothing.
No
Error.
error.
Error
Yeah,
आएगा.
actually you'll get an error because that range or that index is not allowed for this array. Here, which acceptable indices are there? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because 5 elements, so 0 to 4. If I give any other value, it will give you an error. It is called an exception actually, called as array out of bound exception. Okay, it is an exception. Instead of saying error, we call it as an exception. And how to handle it, we'll see when we learn object-oriented programming. So if you want to accept the values or print the values through the for loop, as I said, here what we have done directly, we have stored the values. But uh, what is our problem? Suppose we want to have different values, then we have to directly go inside the program and change the values, which is not an ideal solution. So what we did previously, we used the input functionality, right, to accept the different numbers and run the same program for the different numbers. Same thing, you can accept these values also in a for loop if you want, or maybe individually also. How you'll do it individually? You will do like this. So you will write int a square bracket. Then if you want, you can write a equal to new int, and then you can specify the size. And then in the for loop, okay, you'll write all the conditions. Your condition will be only for accepting 5 elements because this array can store maximum 5 elements. And in this for loop, you will use your object. Suppose the object name is scan dot next int, right? We have seen this last time, how to accept from the user. Scan dot next int. So whatever you'll accept from the user, that we have to store as the array elements. So a of I will write equal to this. Now, how you will run this for all the elements? So in your for loop, the condition should be like this: int I semicolon I less than 5 and I plus plus. So how this will run, let us see. So first of all, I is equal to 0. Okay, I've initialized here. I is equal to 0. When I is equal to 0, 0 less than 5, condition satisfied. So I'll come inside my for loop, and a of 0. I value is what? 0. So a of 0 is equal to whatever the user enters from the keyboard, that value, suppose 12, will get stored inside the left hand side. That means a of 0. And if I say A of 0 means first element. So at the position of the first element, 12 will get stored. That means at index 0, 12 will get stored. Okay, so all the statements inside the for loop are over. So I value will get incremented. Now I will become what? Can you tell me?
1.
Yes. So now you will come inside I has become 1, 1 less than 5. So you'll come inside A of 1, and then whatever value the user enters with the help of this right hand side, what I've written, will get stored in the left hand side. Suppose he enters 34. Then A of 2, whatever value he enters, then A of 3, A of 4. Now when I go for 5, when I becomes 5, 5 less than 5 falls, so I will stop. So as you can see, for the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have accepted the values. And it is correct because the index is only 0 to 4, and I have 5 elements. 5 elements means index is from 0 to 4. I have accepted all the elements in my array. So this is the procedure to accept the elements one by one from the user using for loop. You can also use while loop or do while loop. Only syntax will change. Meaning is the same. And to display the elements, what you'll do? System.out.println, and then you will write A of I. So for all these values of I, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the each element will get displayed. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So this is accepting and displaying. And you know the different ways. What are the different ways? Just quickly see here once again before we go to the programs. Declaring, memory allocation, and then using for loop, or without using for loop, accepting the values, or directly initialize the values, called as hard coding the values. Now, if you do not want to use the for loop to display the elements, if I remove this for loop, then you can simply print A of 0. Then this same statement you'll have to run for A of 1. The same statement you'll have to print for A of 2. Okay, so without the for loop, what we are doing, instead of I, we are putting the values of I, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same way to accept the values also, if you don't want to use for loop, first time you have to accept A of 0, means A of 0 equal to out dot next int, then A of 1 equal to out dot next int, A of 2 equal to out dot next int. Same thing. Instead of A of I, we are doing A of 0, A of 1, A of 2 without the loop. Okay, I hope this also is clear. Now let us get down to some programs. So see this one, int marks, and marks equal to new int 5, means 5 elements I can store in this which are integers, and I'm initializing them one by one. I'm not using the for loop or while loop. Okay, this is also correct. And if I do like this, marks of 5, 5 is not allowed because total 5 elements I can store. So index is only from 0 to 4. If I write the index as 5 inside my square bracket, it will throw an error. If I try to print it out also, it will throw an error. Okay, now I want to do this in a single line, and I don't want to do this one by one. I want to do it like this: 12, 34, 56, 67, 1, and then semicolon. Why is it highlighting an error?
Here there is no
Okay.
semicolon, huh?
No, here there is no semicolon. Actually, I forgot to tell you one point. When you're initializing your values here directly, no need to specify the size over here. Okay, that was the error. I missed out on that point. Okay, so remember this, when you're directly initializing like this, means everything in one line, if you know the values here, don't have to specify the size here. For example, if I don't know my values here, if I remove this, see it is showing an error. Why? Because I need to specify the size. See, if I specify the size, error has gone. Okay, so this is another point that you need to remember. For this example, means if you are writing the values here directly, only at the end you need semicolon and don't specify the size here. Okay, so when I have this, now let us try to print this array, all the values in this array. So, and you cannot print an array directly like that. If you can't, if you write marks, uh, let us see what happens. If I directly give the array name, see you're not getting the actual output. Okay, you should get the numbers 12, 34 and all, but you'll get something else. It is actually what? It is the address of the array. Okay, whenever you write the array name, the starting address from where memory is getting allocated. For example, you're going to store 5 integers. So 5 blocks of memory will be, means whatever is the size of integer, accordingly blocks will be arranged in the memory one after the other. It will be, means wherever there are 5 continuous blocks, wherever there's available space, that will be taken for this array. Okay, anywhere in the memory, wherever 5 continuous blocks are there, it will be taken, but it should be continuous. So the starting address of that first memory block is the address of the array. So if I write marks, it is actually address of the array. So I want to print the values inside the array. So I need to use for loop or while loop. Let us use while loop this time. So we know that we have to initialize I outside, and we have to have the condition that a less than. Now, every time you may not know the size of the array. Here I can count. There are 5 elements. So I'll write I less than 5. So that index goes from 0 to 4. But if I don't know my array length, then I must write name of the array dot length. Okay, that is the functionality that you have. What is it? Dot length, array name dot length. Okay, so this will help you to, it will get replaced, this marks dot length, in place of this the actual length of the array, that is size of the array will come. So here there are 5 elements, so less than 5, marks dot length is equal to 5. Okay, automatically 5 will come in place of marks dot length, and I need to write this here. And I also need to do one more thing inside my while loop. What is it?
I plus plus.
Yes, very good. Otherwise it will go into an infinite loop. So if I run this, okay, I need to print marks of I, sorry, not only marks. I just copied that from here, right? So as you can see here, each element, first I had stored 12, then I had stored 34, then 56. In that order only, you will get the elements. Okay, 12, 34, 56, and so on. If I write over here, instead of less than marks dot length, if I write less than 4, so what the index will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So if it is 0, 1, 2, 3, I should get 12 up to 67 I should get. Why? Because 0, 1, 2, 3. This last element 1 should not come. Let us see if that happens. So not necessary, you may always want to print all the values, right? You may want to print a selected range, maybe 0, 1, 2, 3. So last element, that is 1, has got excluded. So you can do like this also. So this is the best way to do it. Instead of doing first line declaring, next line memory allocation, next line initialization, do it everything on a single line. Okay, so this is for floating point array. So all floating point numbers, and we know that for floating point values, we must write a f after that value. So after each value, f has to be written. Similarly, array of strings is also possible. You have strings as the elements. And we know that if I put a character over here, it is highlighting an error because character is not a string. Character means a single keyboard character. Anything on your keyboard, if it is in a single quote, a single character is a character, a single character, you call it, right? So if you write this within double quote, it is accepted because anything within double quote is a string. Okay, remember this. If anything is in a single quote, and if it is a single character, it is a character. And anything in a double quote, whether it is single character or if it is multiple characters, is a string. And within my single quote, if I write a string, what will happen? It should give an error. Okay, so multiple characters within single quote not allowed because single quote means it should be a single character. Okay, so remember that also. And then if you want to print the length of this array, only the length, then same thing, students.length in this case. So let me run it. So what should be the output for students.length? What value I'll get? 4, right? There are 4 names in this. Each thing is an element. Don't consider how many characters are there in each element. How many elements are there in this array is the length of the array. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Hmm. Okay. Now if you want to print the array elements in the reverse order, so this is my marks array. It has integer values and I want to print it in the reverse way. Means I don't want to print the 0th element, then first element, then second element, then third element, then last element. No, I want to print last element, then this second last element, then this third last element, and so on. Means starting from the end, that is n minus 1th index. This is index n minus 1. Starting from n minus 1, I want to go up to 0. So just have to change the condition of your for loop. What you'll do, you'll start from the ending index. What is the ending index? It is n minus 1. Now n is nothing but the length of the array. For example, if I say I have my array, I'm skipping new keyword over here. So this is also allowed. So if I say these are my array elements. So this is at index 0, this is at index 1, this is at index 2, this is at index 3. So the length of this array can be found by a dot length. What will be the value of a dot length here? Can you tell me?
4.
Yes, 4.
4.
Yeah. And what is the last index value over here?
3.
3.
3.
3. So if I want to get 3 in terms of a dot length, so I will write a dot length minus 1. So a dot length minus 1 is nothing but 4 minus 1, which is nothing but 3. So I've got the last index over here, 3. So that is what I'm doing here. I'm starting from the last index, marks dot length minus 1, and going up to 0. And since I'm starting from 3 and going up to 0, I need to decrement the I value, right? So that is why I minus minus. So you have to start from n minus 1 and go up to 0, decreasing the value of I. So let us print this. So the array is starting from 98. Now I should get it from 80 onwards, 80, 99, 79. So as you can see, I'm getting 80, then 99, 70, 80, 99, 79, and 45. Okay, so all reverse way you can get. And you can do another thing here. What you can do is storing the reversed array inside another array. Means what? Instead of printing over here, what I'll do, I'll create another array, suppose A. The name of my second array, another array is A. So in A of I, or say A of J, I will keep storing marks of I. So what will happen? Each marks means each value, each element in the marks array, I'm storing it in another array. But you can see here the control variable is j for the second array. So what I'll do over here, I will write j equal to 0. Now carefully see what I'm doing. So this is a advanced for loop, or you can say new version of for loop. So see what I'm doing is I'm creating another array A. I have declared it. I have allocated the memory and how much size or how many elements I can store. I can store 5 elements because marks.length is what 5 and I want an array of the same length. So what I'll do, marks.length is nothing but 5. That I will specify as the size. So automatically my array will get the size of whatever is the marks array size. And what I'm doing, I'm traversing or I'm traveling the marks array in the reverse way. Why? Because I'm starting from n minus 1 and going up to 0. And at the same time, I'm traveling in my new array, that is A array. In A array, I'm going from starting from 0. And since there are 5 elements only, I'm not specifying up to where, and I'm doing j plus plus. So what is happening? At the same time, I'm going to initialize the marks array condition I, and also j I'm initializing. And if you want, you can specify the j condition also. What will be the j condition? J less than j dot length. Sorry, not j, a dot length. Okay, and uh, you can do this, but why I'm not doing it is because the length of the both the arrays is same. So either you start from the beginning to the end, you'll get 5 elements, or you go from the end to the beginning, you'll get 5 elements only. So that is why I'm not giving the condition here. So what I'm doing, I'm starting my marks array, I'm starting my new array that is controlled by j variable. And for this condition of I, it will stop my for loop. And I'm decreasing I value because I'm going reverse order. And my new array, that is A array, I'm going in the forward direction, so j plus plus. And in each uh, element position of the A array, for each position of A array, I'm going to store the value of marks array. Is this clear? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is
Data type of
actually
j is not declared.
uh, actually int I and j. So int is coming for both I as well as j,
Okay.
right? And note that here I'm giving comma, not semicolon. Even between I minus minus and j plus plus, I'm giving a comma. So what this tells you is you should have the first part, semicolon second part, and then semicolon third part. And you can have how many ever parts inside this third part. Means you can also have some k minus minus, you can have another d plus plus or something like that. But there should be 3 parts only. Why 3 parts? You'll get to know by the semicolon. And inside each part, means this is initialization part, I can initialize I, j, k, l, m, anything. Here also I can have the plus plus minus minus for how many ever variables. But this thing is nothing but step size. The first condition is nothing but initializing. How many I'm initializing is not the question, but it is initializing. I can initialize how many ever variables, but between them comma, not semicolon. Only after you finish all the initializing, semicolon. After you finish all the conditions, semicolon. And after you finish all the plus minus, no semicolon, because this is the last condition. Okay, so note that where you have to give semicolon and where comma. Is this clear for everyone?
Yes.
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 Okay, so this was one more thing, and there's another advanced for loop that you have in Java, and you also have it in advanced C++, in C++ version 4 onwards, I suppose. So what I'm doing here is, this is similar to Python lists. What we used to do for I in list, and then used to print I, where I represented each element in the list. Correct? Am I right? Used to write for I in list. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So same thing you're doing here, but the change is for element in marks. How you're saying in marks, you're not writing in, you're putting the colon over here. So the element represents each value inside this marks array. Okay, so element stands for each of the elements, that is 98. First time element will be equal to 98. Next it will become equal to 45. Next element will become equal to 79. And you're going to print the element, right? Because that is the value of the element of the array. So for element in marks, that is the way you read it. And you have to initialize this element variable. So int element. If you want, you can write int element outside and write element inside. So I'm writing int element over here. And then element you can write inside. Okay. So this will also work. Let us see. And here also, I've directly initialized my array without the new keyword. So whenever you directly put the values of the array over here only, don't specify the size. If I specify, it is giving me error. Okay. But if you don't know these how many elements, and you're going to allocate memory by writing new something something, that time where you'll specify the size, you'll write new int, and here you'll specify the size. Okay, not here. Here you'll specify the size. So these are some things. So you're getting all those elements by this. This is called for each loop. This is called for each element. So for each loop. You have another concept called as two-dimensional arrays. Now you also have two-dimensional lists in Python. So the concept is that you have the elements 12, 34, 56, 76 over here. Now suppose instead of this element, I have an array instead of this element. For example, if I'm saying array means what? The array is always given in curly brackets. So instead of this 12 element, I have put another array inside this. And in this array, I can have other elements, right? This is the concept of, you can call it either nested arrays or two-dimensional arrays. That means you have an outer array, and the elements of this outer array are nothing but inner arrays. Is this clear?
Yes.
Others?
Yes.
Instead of 34, what I'll have? Another array. That means an element is nothing but here, this is an element, and the element is nothing but another array. It is called two-dimensional array. Similarly, instead of this inner array, its element suppose 34, I replace it with another array. Here I'll write some another array. So this is another level. Inside this, I can have another array. So there's no limit. You can go inside and inside how many ever times you want. So this is called n-dimensional array. Each time you go inside means each time the element becomes an array, each time the element becomes an array, it increases the dimension by 1. So it becomes, firstly it was 2-dimensional, then it became 3-dimensional, then 4-dimensional. Similarly, you can go up to any n dimensions. So how to handle such arrays also we have to see. And in such cases, you'll have two control variables. Control variable means nothing but you have I for single linear array. For two-dimensional array, you'll have I as well as j. So that how you'll write? You will write like this for 2D arrays, bracket bracket, the array name is flats over here. Or you can have bracket, flats, bracket. That means square bracket, then array name, again square bracket. Or you can have int array name and then square bracket, square bracket. Right? So either both the square brackets before or both the square brackets after, or one before, one after is allowed. So you have declared it. What about giving the memory, allocating memory? As I said, I have not initialized the 2D array here, so I have to specify the size. And 2, 3 means what? Your outer array. 2 means what? Your outer array. That means this outer array has 2 elements. So let me call it element A and element B. And your inner arrays, suppose A is another array. Let me call this X. So this is my outer array X. Inside this outer array X, I have A and B. Suppose A and B are inner arrays. Suppose A is an inner array. Okay, then the size of this A holds how many elements? Is nothing but this 3. Okay, so what I mean to say, you have 2 elements in your outer array, and this A array, that is this inner array, itself has 3 elements. Suppose X, Y, Z. These are the 3 elements of this A array. This B array is another inner array, and it has another 3 elements, P, Q, R. Okay, so 2 here, if I write this 2 means what? The outer array size. This is my outer array. This square brackets, this curly brackets are my outer array. Inside this outer array, I have 1 and 2 elements. And this 1 and 2 elements are nothing but arrays. So 1 and 2. So 2 is coming over here. And each of my inner arrays have how many elements of their own? 3 elements. 1, 2, 3. This inner array has how many elements? 1, 2, 3. So that 3 is this 3. Is it clear? Outer array size and each of the inner array size. Is it clear?
Yes.
Others? Clear?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. What is your doubt?
Uh, so what if the both the inner arrays have different length?
Yes, that is also possible. So that's what we will see in one program also. So I'll show you that also. So what I was saying is, uh, yeah. So if you want to print, we'll come to your doubt. But if you want to print, suppose flats is my array. So if I say flats of 0, okay, if I say flats of 0 means, what do you think? What I'm referring to? If I say, suppose here my array name is flats. Okay, if I say flats of 0 means, what do you think? What should be the output? Means what am I referring to?
First inner array.
Correct. Very good. Very good. It is first in array. Sonali, correct. First in array. So I'm referring to this XYZ array. Similarly, if I say flats of 1, I'm referring to this PQR array. Okay, so I hope you have understood. If you want to access the inner array, this inner array means the inner array which is at the 0th index. Okay, this outer array also has index 0 and 1. At the index 0, we have this inner array, and at the index 1 of the outer array, we have this inner array, PQR. So if I say flats of 0 means this element, which is nothing but XYZ array. So this is also an array. Flats of 0 is also an array. Which array? Flats of 0 is the XYZ array. So this array also has length. So I can write flats of 0 dot length. And if I say flats of 0 dot length, what will be the output of this flats of 0 dot length in this case? Can you tell me?
3.
3.
Very good. Very good.
3.
Yes, very good response. So I am very happy you're understanding. Flats of 0 is XYZ array. So there are 3 elements in this array, X, Y, Z. So the length will be 3. Okay. Usually people get so confused in these concepts, but very good you're understanding it. Okay, so this was for inner array length. Now what if I print flats dot length? Can you guess, if I print flats dot length, what should be the length? Can you tell me?
2.
2.
Excellent, 2. Very good. Because I'm referring to flats array, that is the outer array, its length. Its length is nothing but number of elements. It has 2 elements. We are not concerned whether that element is an array or not. How many elements it has? It has 2 elements. Also, another indication is there is a single comma over here. So it has 1 and 2 elements. So flats.length means number of inner arrays. We can say that if all the inner elements are the inner arrays. Okay, flats.length is number of inner arrays, and flats of 0 is this array which has the length 3. Okay, so that is the difference between flats of 0 length and flats.length. Okay, so here, since I've specified the size 2 and 3, and I have not specified the elements, I've only specified the size. So you're going to print the size. It will not give you an error, okay? Though the elements are not listed here, you have specified the size. So depending on that, the length will be specified. So flats of 0 dot length will be 2, and flats dot 0 of length will be 3, and flats dot length will be 2. Just now you told me the answer. Flats dot length means 2, and flat 0 dot length means 3. So let me execute this program. Let me comment this much. Okay, so this was only up to the second level, means 2-dimensional array. As I said, inside an array, you can have another array, and so on. So what we can say, here we'll have some more square brackets if we have so many inner arrays, right? So till now we have this much. So let me run this. So as you said, and as I also said, flats of 0 means 3, and flats dot length means number of inner arrays or number of elements of outer array, that is 2. And now you can specify each of these inner elements. Now how we'll specify? Flats of 0 of 0, flats of 0 of 1, flats of 0 of 2 means what? If I say, no, okay, so imagine I have 2 elements in my array. They are at index 0 and 1, and they themselves are arrays. Okay, this we have seen till now. Now, if I want to change this x, okay, I want to change this x, or maybe I want to store the value of x. X is an element of the inner array. How I'll write? I will write as flats of. Now this x is in this inner array, and this inner array is at the index 0. So I'll write 0 here. And inside this inner array also there are indices. Means what I mean to say, inside this inner array, for this inner array, x is at 0, y is at 1, and z is at 2. This 0 is for this inner array, and this 0, 1, 2 is for x, y, z. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, so this 0, I want to access this array because x is in this array. And now to access x from this inner array, I will write square bracket 0. So what will happen? This 0 means I have selected this array, and this 0 means within this array I have selected the first element, x. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Similarly, if I want to access z, what will be the change? Can anyone tell me?
Instead of 0, we'll write 2.
Which
Square
0?
bracket 0.
The
First 0 or
second box.
second 0? Yes, correct.
Second.
Yes, correct. So we will write 2, because z is at 2. Okay. So we'll write 2. So similarly, if I want to access q, can you tell me what should be the changes?
1 and 2. In the first one, we'll
One,
write
one,
1,
one.
One.
and then 1.
Okay, so this one means this is the 0th element and this is the first element. In that I have accessed the first element. Okay, I want to access q. So within this array, q is at index 1 of the inner array. So I'm accessing 1. So correct, as you all said. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So that is what we are doing here. 0, 0 is I'm initializing here now. Separately, I'm initializing here. 0, 0 means 1, 0, 1. 0, 1 means 102, 0, 2 means this. So as you can see, what we are doing for all the means, as you can see, what we are doing is here there is 0, 0, 0 means what? This array this array, and this array. And within this, since there are 3 elements, so for the 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 2. Similarly, 1, 1, 1 over here means what? 1, 1, 1 means 1, this array, 1 means this array, 1 means this array. And within that, 0, 1, 2. So within 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 2. So all those elements, they have initialized. So 1, 0, 1, 2, all that has got initialized. And then you can print that. Now printing, how you'll do is, see this carefully. You can either print it like this. How you'll print system.out.println and in the bracket you'll give flats of 0 of 0. Then system.out.println flats of 0 of 1. Then system.out.println flats of 0 of 2. Either go this way, or we know that this is the same thing we are doing again and again. So use the loops. Now there are 2 arrays. One is outer array and inner arrays. Okay. So in this outer array is what? Flats.length. And inner array means how many inner arrays we have? We have 2 inner arrays. So I value will change. I will become 0, then I will become 1, then I will become 2, then I will become 3, and so on. But for this case, as we can see, flats.length for this array is what? Can you tell me? Flats.length for this array is what?
2.
Yes?
2.
2.
Correct. So 2 will come over here. I'm replacing. Am I right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
I is going from where? 0, then it will become 1. And less than 2 means 0 and 1 are only possible for I value. So I is only equal to either 0 and next time it will become 1 and over. So for all these values of 0 of I, of all these values of I, that is 0 and 1, here this I will get replaced with 0. So firstly, I is equal to 0. So within this outer for loop, I have this inner for loop, that is nested for loop it is called. So within this outer for loop, for the value I equal to 0, this inner for loop will run. When I is equal to 0, flats of 0 dot length will happen. And flats of 0 dot length means for this array, what is the value of flats of 0 dot length? What is it?
3.
3.
Yes, 3. So I'll replace for convenience 3 over here. So 0, 1, 2 are the acceptable values of J index. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So J index is controlling the inner array elements and the I index is controlling the outer array elements, which is this and this. So I will represent this inner array and this inner array by the index 0 and 1, and J will represent this one, and this one. That means for I equal to 0, means this array, for I equal to 0 and for J equal to 0, X will get selected. For I equal to 0 and for J equal to 1, Y will get selected. For I equal to 0 and J equal to 2, Z will get selected. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That is what is happening here. So for I equal to 0, this loop will run. How many times? For the values of J, it will run. J will run how many times? 0, 1, 2. So for I equal to 0, J will run 0, 1, 2 for those values. Then I will become 1. And for the value of I equal to 1, J will again run for 0, 1, 2. So initially I is 0, J is 0, 1, 2. XYZ got selected. Then for I equal to 1, J is equal to 0, 1, 2, PQR got selected. I hope this is clear. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes.
you're simply going to print over here I of J. That means each element will get displayed. And this space is just to separate out the elements. Okay, so this is for printing the elements. Same thing you can do for accepting the elements. Only thing what you'll do, flats of I of J is equal to scan.nextInt. Okay, I hope this is clear. For loop, everything will be same. Only what will be the change? To accept the elements, you know how to accept it. To display the elements, you know how to display it. Will you try all these programs at home today?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Now,
Yes.
very important thing. Okay, very good. Now, very important thing, your assignment submission for this course. Okay, so just another 2-3 minutes. I have already updated the sheet for your assignments. And if you know the programs of matrix addition, matrix multiplication, or any application where you have nested for loops for arrays and all, if you already know them, try them. Otherwise, wait for me to teach, okay? Because you know the concepts. If you know the logic, you can implement. So now see your assignments. Assignment 1. If you click on this link, this assignment 1, you'll get the questions of assignment 1. Okay, these are the questions. How you will solve them? You have to write the program for each of these. Okay, there are 5 questions here. Each of them are programs. You have to write the program in your IntelliJ IDEA or in your VS Code. Or if you don't have the IDE installed, or maybe you don't have your laptop, if the Java is not running on your mobile phones, then write it on a piece of paper, okay, the program. And scan it and upload it with the output screenshot. If you're writing the program, run it, take the screenshot of the code. For example, this is the code of my program. I will take a screenshot of this. And when I run my program, what output I'm getting? I'm getting this output. This screenshot also I will take, attach both the screenshots, create a PDF of it. And here I will provide a link to upload your submission. Is it clear how you have to solve the assignments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the deadline is also mentioned here. And one of this assignment question, write a Java program to detect whether the number is an integer or not. Okay. Try it on your own if you know it, or try to search about it. Okay. Next time I'll show you how to detect whether the input is an integer or whether the input is a string or not. Okay. So detecting the input type, the input's data type. That is the 5th question that you've got. Try it on your own. If you don't get, wait for me to solve. Similarly, you have assignment 2, 3, 4. Okay, and the deadline is mentioned alongside. So before 23rd, means on 23rd at 11:59 p.m. Till then you can submit assignment 1. Okay, that is the deadline. If you go beyond the deadline, it's okay, but your marks may get reduced. Okay, if you want the complete marks, then submit before the deadline. Similarly for assignment 2, 25th is the deadline. For 3, 27th. For 4, 30th. So by the end of this month, all this should be completed before the deadline, respective deadlines. Is it clear?
Yes.
And one more thing, as you all had promised me last time that you all will self practice the programs. Yeah, you can put your attendance. You all will self practice programs like prime number, Armstrong number, and all. So whatever you have practiced till now, or whatever you're going to practice in future, till the end of this course, extra, that means not these assignments. Okay, whatever extra you practice on your own, you have to upload over here. What I've written, upload self practice Java programs. Click on this link. This is a Google form link. You have to fill your email ID, name, branch, contact number, and same thing, upload what? Code and screenshot, and list the names of the Java programs that you have solved. Okay, here you can write 1 prime number, 2 Armstrong number, you can write like that, and submit this. Okay, this is your self-study, whatever you have done, that I want to check. Okay, it is not it is not that how many problems you solve or what you're solving or when you're solving, but whatever you solve, you have to upload here. Okay, is it clear, all these instructions?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. So
Hello,
try
sir.
to do, yes, any doubts you can ask me.
In the assignment, when you said determine whether a number is integer or not, so you meant it's data type, or is it an
Yes, data
integer
type.
in mathematics?
Uh,
Data type.
no, no,
Okay, sir.
integer means data type.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Any other doubts?
No, sir.
Anyone else wants to ask? So tell me,
And negative
yes,
indices are allowed or not?
no, no, they are not allowed. And what I was saying, the two-dimensional arrays concept just now, which we saw, inner array, outer array. Is it clear for everyone, or do you want me to repeat anything in the next lecture? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, clear.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as you finish this session, by tonight, try to practice, revise it so that you don't forget it. Okay. Any other doubts, or should I end this meeting?
Thank
Okay,
you.
I'll end this.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Welcome.